Hello everyone. In this video, we will do the daily current affairs analysis of 1st December 2021. So the first topic which we will discuss is all about the contempt of court. So it is from GS paper 2 and topic is judiciary related issues. So what is meant by court's contempt? Contempt of court is a legal term that refers to a violation of court. Contempt of court refers to a court's ability to preserve its own grandeur and respect. This ability is regulated but not limited by the 1971 Contempt of Courts Act. In the Indian Constitution, the term contempt of court is not defined. The Supreme Court, on the other hand, has the jurisdiction to punish itself for contempt under Article 129 of the Constitution. Article 215 of the Constitution grants the High Court the same authority. The 1971 Contempt of Courts Act defines both civil and criminal contempt. Civil contempt refers to willful disregard of a court's decision. If a conduct has the potential to disgrace or undermine the court's authority, criminal contempt may be employed. It has a proclivity to hinder the proper administration of any court proceeding. Laws relating to the contempt of court. Fair criticism or fair comment on the merits of a final decision does not constitute contempt according to section 5 of the act. However, the judge's judgment of what is fair is left to their discretion. This open-ended interpretation occasionally jeopardizes Article 19's freedom of speech and expression. Natural justice principle violation. Judges may appear to be acting in their own best interests, violating natural justice principles and jeopardizing the public faith that the processes are supposed to uphold. Steps to take next. Freedom of speech is the most fundamental of the fundamental rights, and any restrictions on it should be kept to a minimum. Under the law of contempt of court, only the limits essential to sustain the legitimacy of judicial institutions can and should be applied. As a result, regulations and standards describing the method superior courts must follow while conducting criminal contempt proceedings must be drafted, keeping natural justice and fairness principles in mind. So source of this news is The Hindu. Next is how MPs are suspended in India. So it is from GS paper 2 and the topic is parliament related issues. So context: 12 opposition MPs were recently expelled from the Rajya Sabha for the remaining winter session due to disruptions in the Rajya Sabha during the monsoon session. Their suspension was based on unprecedented acts of misconduct, rude, boisterous, and aggressive behavior, and intentional assaults on security staff in the House. Code of Conduct for Members of Parliament. Members of Parliament are required to follow certain parliamentary etiquette rules. According to the Lok Sabha Code, MPs are not to interrupt others' statements, maintain silence, or disrupt proceedings during debates by hissing or providing running comments, which is comparable to the Rajya Sabha rule book. Members of the House should not chant slogans, hold banners, tear up documents in protest, or listen to a cassette or tape recorder while in the chamber. The authority of the presiding officer. Both houses' rule books grant the presiding officers of both houses specific and similar powers to ensure that the proceedings go well. According to Rule 255 of the Rajya Sabha Rule Book, the chairman may direct any member whose conduct is in his opinion grossly disorderly to withdraw immediately from the council, and any member so ordered to withdraw shall do so forthwith and shall absent himself during the remainder of the day's meeting. Rule 256 specifies member suspension, yet Rule 255 specifies a less severe penalty. Suspension is permissible for a period not to exceed the balance of the session, according to Rule 256 of the Rajya Sabha Rule Book. The Rajya Sabha chairman used this rule to suspend 12 members of the parliament or the Rajya Sabha. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha can suspend an MP for up to 5 days for disrupting the House's business, according to Rule 374A of the Lok Sabha Rule Book, which was added in 2001. In 2015, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan invoked this option to suspend 25 members of the Congress. This power does not belong to the Rajya Sabha chairman. Speakership and chairmanship. Under Rule 255 of the Rajya Sabha's rule book, the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, like the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, has the right to force any member whose behavior is in his judgment excessively disorderly to depart immediately from the house. In contrast to Speaker of the Lok Sabha, the chairman of the Rajya Sabha does not have the authority to suspend a member. Suspension of a member of the Rajya Sabha. Procedure for suspension. The Rajya Sabha chairman has the authority to identify a member who disobeys the chair's authority or violates the council's rules by repeatedly and purposefully impeding activity. In this situation, the House may pass a motion suspending the member's ability to serve in the House for the remainder of the session. Suspension can be lifted. A member's suspension can be lifted by the House passing another motion. Source of this news is The Hindu. Next is details about the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So it is from GS paper 2 and topic is constitutional posts related issues. So background of CAG. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India is constituted as an independent office in Chapter 5 of Part 5 of the Indian Constitution. Articles 148 to 151 of the Indian Constitution define the CAG. He is the chief of the Indian Audit and Accounts Department. He is the guardian of the public purse and is in charge of the entire financial system of the country, both at the national and state levels. It is his obligation to preserve the Indian Constitution and the laws of Parliament in the sphere of financial administration. Term of office and appointment. The CAG is appointed by the President of India through a warrant signed and sealed by him. He will be the President elected for 6 years or until the age of 65, whichever comes first, whichever is lower. So the duties of CAG include the Consolidated Fund of India as well as the consolidated funds of each state and UT with a legislative assembly are audited by the CAG. Every spending from the India's contingency fund and public account as well as each state's contingency fund and public account is audited by the CAG. The CAG audits all trading, manufacturing, profit and loss accounts, balance sheets and other subsidiary accounts maintained by the central government and state governments. The CAG audits the receipts and expenditures of all bodies and authorities significantly financed from central or state income, government companies and other corporations and bodies as required by linked laws. His certification is definitive as it determines and certifies the net earnings of any tax or duty. Reports. He delivers his audit reports on the center's and state finances to the President and Governor, who subsequently deliver them to both chambers of Parliament and the state legislatures respectively. He submits 3 audit reports to the President, one on appropriation accounts, one on finance accounts and one on public undertakings. CAG and PSE. He is a counselor, companion, and philosopher to the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. In addition to its statutory, regulatory, and compliance audits, the CAG performs a performance and efficiency audit to analyze the executive's wisdom and economy in order to uncover instances of improper expenditure and waste of public money. The independence of the CAG is guaranteed by the following constitutional provisions. The government has a long term relationship with the CAG. Only the president can dismiss him through the processes established in the constitution. As a result, despite the president's appointment, he does not take office under the president's pleasure. He is disqualified from any future appointments in the Indian central government or in any state government after resigning from his office. His pay and other working conditions are set by the parliament. His pay is on par with that of a Supreme Court justice. His remuneration as well as his rights to leave of absence, pension, and retirement age cannot be amended after his appointment. The Consolidated Fund of India is in charge of the CAG's offices, administrative costs, which include all salary, allowances, and pensions for individuals who work there. As a result, they are exempt from parliamentary scrutiny. So, source of this news is The Hindu. Next is how the Indian citizenship is renounced. So, it is from GS paper 2 and topic is Indian Constitution and citizenship provisions. So, background of this news is new rules have been announced by the Ministry of Home Affairs MHA to make the process of renunciation of citizenship easier for Indians who desire to do so. Two of the new laws' simplified components are the ability to upload documents online and the completion of the renunciation process in 60 days. A portion of the new form requires the Indian citizen to explain why he or she is surrendering the Indian citizenship. The uploaded documents must be submitted to the district magistrate if a citizen of India or an Indian mission is located outside of India. The candidate will be interviewed before receiving the final certificate. Furthermore, the Citizenship Act of 1955 states that any minor child of that individual shall thereupon cease to be a citizen of India. Concerns about the guidelines. It's unclear whether children will lose their Indian citizenship if only one of their parent applies for the renunciation of Indian citizenship. So the Citizenship Act of 1955 establishes three ways for a person to lose his or her citizenship. First is through renunciation. Any Indian citizen of full age and capacity above the 18 years of age may declare that he or she no longer wishes to be an Indian citizen. A declaration like this might not be acceptable during a conflict. Minor children of someone who has renounced citizenship may also lose their Indian citizenship. When their children attain the age of 18, he may reclaim the Indian citizenship. By termination, if an Indian citizen chooses to become a citizen of another country, he relinquishes his Indian citizenship. This clause, however, does not apply during the times of conflict. By deprivation, if the following conditions are met, the central government must terminate the Indian citizenship. If the person was able to get citizenship through misrepresentation of facts, the Indian constitution has been betrayed or disfollowed, the person has shown disrespect towards the Indian constitution. Citizens have unlawfully shared or communicated during times of conflict. Within 5 years of naturalization, the citizen is condemned to 2 years in prison. The citizen has been normally living outside of India for the past 7 years. Source of this news is The Hindu. Next is about the Chief Economic Advisor. It is a prelims specific topic. So the Indian government's Chief Economic Advisor CEA gives recommendations on money, business, commerce and the economy. The CEA reports directly to the Minister of Finance. The CEA is in charge of the economic division of the Department of Economic Affairs DEA. The economic division researches economic trends in India and around the world. Economic research and studies on economic policy and management are conducted by it. It provides research based advice to the Indian government. The Office of the Economic Advisor is a subsidiary of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry OEA. The source of this news is The Hindu. So thanks a lot for watching the analysis video. Have a nice day.